If you want to introduce yourself to the motion picture world with a cinema lens on a budget, then this might be what you've been searching for. This is my first cinema lens, the Series 75mm T1.2 from their Nightwalker Cine lens series, and this is a different experience from using a normal photo lens. Let me show you what I've captured. The Surrey Nightwalker lens series are compact, prime, and affordable Super 35 cinema lenses, all rated at T1.2. This is a great introduction if you want to dive into lenses that have distinct characteristics. They aren't as perfect as photo lenses tend to be, which is what we're looking for, and that can change how your shots come out when filming with something like this. From all the footage I've captured with this lens, I decided not to put any filters I usually put on my setup, like the quarter black pro mist, so you can see how the footage comes out straight from the camera. The only filters I used were my ND filters from Nisi to ensure I got the best footage outside, since the color accuracy is great with them on. For full transparency, Siri did send me this lens so I could review it and check it out, but all my opinions shared in this video are my own. But I will tell you right now, I would recommend this lens or any of the other focal lengths in the Nightwalker series due to how great the quality is for something this affordable. If you want to learn why and who it's for, keep watching to see more of what this lens can do. The great thing about this series of lenses is that no matter which focal length you choose, or if you decide to get more than one, they all have the same filter thread size, focus ring, and aperture ring placement. They are similar compact sizes and should hopefully cover the camera you use, as they offer the lenses in a wide range of mounts. Even though my camera is the Sony a7 IV, a full frame mirrorless camera, and these cinema lenses are for Super 35 crop sensor cameras, I can still utilize them since I can crop into the sensor to get the best of both worlds. Because they are Super 35 lenses, the 75mm is equivalent to almost an 113mm lens in full frame. This is another reason why they are cheap, since lenses only covering cropped sensors tend to be more affordable than full frame lenses. So make sure before buying any lenses, check if your camera is either full frame, cropped, or can work with both. It would be cool to make a follow-up video with more of their lenses from this set, or other Cine lenses in general, so I can see how they differ in looks. When I look to get a new lens, I'm more interested in how it works for me, the experience using it, and the characteristics it will show in the footage. I might not go deep into every little thing about it, but there are plenty of videos going into that if that's what you're looking for. I decided to put the lens through scenarios I would typically use it in to see how the shots would come out, and I wasn't disappointed. As I mentioned earlier, this is my first cinema lens, as I mainly use the Sony 24-70mm G Master for filming. This was definitely an adjustment for me, as cinema lenses typically are manual focus only, and I use autofocus 90% of the time in my work. I do have some experiences with manual focus when I need to use it, but since I'm a solo filmmaker and cinematographer and I film myself a lot, I do need autofocus, and I know I can trust Sony cameras. But I do use manual focus when I don't want the focus to shift and for creative decisions. So since this is manual focus only, I always have the peaking display on to make sure what I want in focus is in focus. Also, having at least a 5-inch monitor makes it easier to view. But also, when I wanted to film myself by myself, I had to focus on something that would be in my position and then try to make sure I was in the right spot so I wasn't out of focus. This would be easier with a wireless follow focus system, so I can adjust the focus away from the camera instead of going back and forth, but for now, I don't have one. With a lens like this that can open up to T1.2, if I'm not behind the camera, I would see myself rarely shooting wide open. The depth of field is so shallow at T1.2 that I wouldn't shoot there that often anyway, unless I needed that much light entering the shot or a moment calls for it for a really dreamy background. One thing I do wish they could improve is the minimum focus distance. On the 75mm lens, 113mm equivalent for full frame, the closest you can get is almost 3 feet, which is really not that close at all. I wish I could capture more details up close without needing a diopter, as that filter has its own characteristics that will change how the footage looks. I know it's not a macro lens, but even a foot closer could go a long way. So now let's talk about the build quality. In my hands, the lens feels like it's built better than what it's priced at. It feels solid, and the focus throw is 270 degrees, so you can fine tune and adjust where the focus is. I don't believe these are weather sealed, and that makes sense so they can keep the cost down, but you can just get a rain cover if you are shooting in poor conditions. I do like the variable and smooth aperture ring, but sometimes I accidentally move the aperture when I try to manually focus. Maybe it's just me, but I think it would be cool if there was a toggle to lock the aperture so when I'm reaching for the wrong ring, I don't move it. Especially when I'm on the move filming outdoors, I keep messing that up, but maybe with time I'll improve my mistakes. With the image quality, you can see from what I've captured that it's beautiful. The more wide open you shoot, the softer the edges get, but that's one thing that gives this lens its character. Also, the flares don't appear too crazy when shooting into a direct light source. So if you're looking for a cleaner look in a cinema lens, this could be for you too. But I don't have anything bad to say about how it looks or the characteristics you get from it. Maybe if I get to explore other lenses, my opinions would change or develop more, but I think this is where you could start if you wanted to try cinema lenses. As I said at the beginning of this video, I would recommend checking out this lens and the Suri Nightwalker Cine Lens series in general. This is great for anyone wanting to move away from normal photo lenses, but doesn't want to push too far into a certain look or style you might get with other cine lenses. It's honestly the perfect introduction to using cinema lenses for someone who hasn't used one before. Also, at the price these are set at, it's easier to consider these over many other cinema lenses, but only if you're shooting Super 35. If you're looking for lenses with more distinct characteristics or higher quality, you might look towards more expensive options. But I don't think the image will disappoint you. Pick the focal length you favor most or are interested in, and you'll be happy with what you capture. If you want to learn more about them or get them yourself, you can check them out using the link in the description. I hope you learn more about this lens and what it can produce through what I've captured. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment down below what you think about the Suri Nightwalkers, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.